Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, and I am so excited to dig into this topic today because, here at No Guilt Mom, we want to help you go from feeling like you're the martyr in your house, giving up everything for the sake of your children, for the sake of your partner, to the model where instead of giving up everything, you are showing your kids what a fulfilled life looks like without doing everything for them. And to really embrace that, we need to talk about Bob. We need to talk about Bob. If you are a frequent listener of the No Guilt Mom podcast, you have heard us reference our Bob before, but I thought I would devote this episode to really explaining it and seeing if you can find the Bob in your life. This inner voice you have that tells you not to do things. It's that inner voice telling you when you're about to do something big, you're about to tackle a huge project, or maybe you are going to go ask for a promotion at work, or perhaps you want to try guitar lessons, but you're afraid that you're going to suck at guitar. And that inner voice is telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. This isn't going to be good for you. You're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to be really embarrassed. And then where will you be? Like, don't do it. That thing that just pulls you out of the moment. First of all, that inner voice, that's not you. That's not you at all. And the reason it's not you is because you can notice it. You notice that something is pulling you back. And you probably see this a lot in your kids too, right? When you see an activity that your kids are interested in, be it like a new sport like basketball, or maybe it's something like dance or theater, something that your kid has never done before, but you think they'll like it. And they tell you, no, it's too embarrassing. No, I can't do that. I'm going to look like a fool. Like I hear this a lot from my kids too. And it's that inner voice that's telling them, don't do this. Stay safe. Sometimes you call this inner voice by a name, and I find it's very, very helpful to call it by a name. I used to call mine Julia or Karen. This is actually advice from Dr. Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, where you call that inner voice, the one that's holding you back, another name so you realize that it's something that is under your control versus your thoughts going haywire. But I've never really stuck with Julia or Karen, so I call mine Bob. Because I'm definitely not a Bob. Like, I can't identify with Bob in the slightest. So referring it as Bob, I realize that it is definitely outside of myself. And Bob is there to keep you safe and out of danger. He actually has a pretty useful role. He just doesn't do it in a very productive way. Bob is afraid of new things. Is this clicking for you right now? If you have experienced any fear of putting yourself out there, if you consider yourself shy or think that your kids are shy, this is Bob. He wants to keep you safe. But here's the thing. You can't grow when Bob runs the show, because Bob is going to prevent you from trying those new things that are going to have you meet new people and have you find new skills. We really need to get Bob under wraps, else he's going to control our whole life. Like, I think that in high school, I let my Bob control my life a lot. I didn't even go to my first dance, a school dance, until I was senior year in high school, because every time I even thought of it, the first thing that would come into my mind is, oh, people are going to laugh at me. They're going to be so concerned about what I'm wearing. I don't know the right things to wear. They're going to be off in their little groups and I'm just going to look like the fool over here. Bob ran my entire life as a child. And he even ran my life when I was in my first job in the entertainment industry, when I was in production. And I did this, y'all. So when you're an assistant in entertainment, one of your jobs is to network. You need to know everybody at all the studios. You need to know everybody at all the agencies. And so one of the ways you network is you schedule drinks with like all these other assistants. What I would routinely do is I would schedule drinks with someone, and then my Bob would come in and tell me like, oh, you're too sweaty today. Like, this was a real thing. You're too sweaty today. Or you're going to have nothing to say. Like, look at you right now. You're going to make a fool out of yourself. And I would talk myself out of drinks. So I would always be the one who at lunchtime is emailing this other assistant and is like, I really don't feel well. Or something came up at work and I can't tonight. I'm so sorry. Can we reschedule? It was a pattern, to say the least. I had no idea what was going on then, but now I fully realize that my Bob was running the show. So if you have something like that in your life, let's talk a little bit about how you can control your Bob. There are 3 ways that you can work on. You ready for them? Okay, here they are. Number 1, you can ignore your Bob. Now, this is sometimes easier said than done. What I like to think of in terms of battling your brain and trying to get yourself out of your comfort zone is you're really struggling with a bench warmer versus a star quarterback. Your Bob is a star quarterback right now. He has had a lot of gameplay. He's been put in and tossed the ball a lot. You can tell I don't watch sports with that metaphor. So Bob is very strong. He has a lot of muscles. And your positive voice, that voice that makes you want to try these new experiences, he's been sitting on the bench. Or she. Let's make her a girl. She's been sitting on the bench. And she doesn't have the confidence yet. And she doesn't have the courage yet to stand up to Bob. And if she were to immediately confront Bob, like, it wouldn't end well because, you know, Bob's big muscles and Bob's had unfair advantages. So a way we can get around this is simply ignoring our Bob. We don't go head on and be like, no, Bob, you're wrong. What we do is we just turn away. So if you think you hear Bob in your head telling you not to do something or telling you it's going to be an embarrassment, you're just like, thank you, Bob, for your feedback. And you turn and you face the other way. And you could just picture yourself doing that in your mind of ignoring what Bob has to say. Because the more you ignore what Bob has to say, the stronger your bench warmer gets until she can eventually overpower Bob, which is really what we want. So that's the first one. You can ignore Bob. The second one is you need to protect your Bob. What I mean by protect, I mean don't keep Bob safe. We really don't want Bob running the show. And remember, his motives are pure. He just wants to protect us, but he's really stopping us from doing things that will put us out of our comfort zone. So we need to protect him. And what I mean by that is that our Bob is really easily influenced. He's influenced by things he sees. He's influenced by things he hears. He's influenced by anything that happened during childhood. If you're scrolling social media and you see these pictures of all these perfect, happy families celebrating the holidays or getting ready for Halloween or doing these cute little Halloween activities, and all you can think of is you look at these pictures and you're like, my gosh, my kids would never go for an activity like that. It would be a complete mess. I must be a horrible mom that I can't get my kids to sit for that. Or here's one that goes through my head. I am a horrible mom because I don't want to do that stuff with my kids. Like, that looks like a lot of work. It looks like it's really messy, and I really don't enjoy having those crafts around. But this craft, like, is this something I should be doing as a mom to be a good mom? Like, oh my gosh, it gets so messy in there. And if you have that thought process too as a mom, I'm right there with you. We need to protect Bob. If we notice that feeling, that's a reason that Bob needs to go off social media. That's a reason for us to put down our phones and be like, okay, Bob, you've had enough today. You're making me feel horrible. Another way to protect Bob is to watch out for criticism. Watch out for people saying things about you, about your work that aren't necessarily true. The people in the cheap seats are the ones who are complaining. And that holds true for anyone who is criticizing you right now. Like, you accept the criticism of people in the game with you, people in the ring with you, people who are trying the same things you are trying and know how hard it is to get through, and they offer these helpful suggestions. What I don't want you to accept, and what I want you to protect your Bob against, and this is something really great to tell kids too, is those people sitting off on the sidelines, up on the top row in the bleachers, telling you like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, or you shouldn't be talking about those things, or you shouldn't do that with your kids. It's not good for them. And they hold no expertise whatsoever. It is just their opinion. Protect your Bob from them. Note what they are. They're just there to criticize. Their opinion isn't going to help you grow. It's just going to make you feel more down, and protect your Bob against them. Right after this break, I'm going to go into the third way that you can control your Bob. So my son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused mini-game quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org. This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM. So we have two ways so far to control our Bob. Ignore him, just turn away when he's doing his Bob thing, and protect him so he's not easily influenced and taking the power and the energy away from like all of these bad influences, and it's just making him grow bigger and bigger and bigger. We want to stop him from doing that. The third way is to observe your Bob. And when I say observe your Bob, you want to watch to see where Bob's voice is coming from, because it might be someone who's really close to you. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a friend from high school. Especially when Bob is telling you what you should do and what you should not do. And when you start observing and you start recognizing where this talk is coming from, for example, my Bob sometimes takes the talk of Sister Mary Louise, who was the principal at my elementary school, and things Sister Mary Louise would say not to do. And especially the incident where I was really excited about seeing macaroni and beef in someone's lunch. And being a fourth grader, I took it out of her lunchbox and showed her. And I'm like, my grandma makes the same thing. And she ran and she told her mom, who was a teacher. And they didn't talk to me at all, like nothing. There was no conversation. But I was sent to detention, also called study hall, also proctored by Sister Mary Louise. And as I was sitting there, Sister Mary Louise threw a bag of chips on my desk. Like, I was hungry, which I wasn't. I was just very excited that we both had the same meal. But a lot of times, Sister Mary Louise pops in my head, just assuming things about myself, saying that, oh, I am a greedy person, or I'm taking things that aren't mine, assuming these horrible things without talking and getting my opinion. My Bob assumes a lot. It accuses me of a lot. So observe that Bob and pay really close attention to who that voice might be. And then ask yourself the question, are they right? Are they right? I could say that experience has really shaped my profession now, because I look back and I'm like, she was not right. She should have just talked to me. I would have told her exactly why. But even now, as I say that, I know what would have happened in that day. I would have told them why, and they would have accused me of lying, and they wouldn't have believed me. You didn't speak up because of that. That's also something to unpack a little bit later. If you feel like you've ever been accused of lying or not telling the truth, and so you've been taught to distrust your own opinion or your own view of things, that's a Bob voice to observe as well. And really asking yourself, are they right? And usually when I ask myself that question, it's a resounding no. No, they are not right. You know, the fault was not mine. The fault was all theirs. It's helpful when you realize that. And it's also helpful to ask yourself the question, is this person perhaps being controlled by their own Bob? Are they being controlled by fear? And if I look at Sister Mary Louise, I could say that she was probably fearful of kids at her school not having good values or stealing or something along those lines. And she had no other way to discipline other than what she knew. So she was just doing the best she could. When I look through those questions, my Bob has no power over me anymore. I realize how nuanced the situation was and how she was probably run by her own Bob as well. That is how to control your Bob. Ignore him, turn away, protect him because he's easily influenced, and observe them and really question where this voice is coming from. And the next time your Bob pops up, you now have something to label him by. And this is a great concept to teach your kids as well, because it shows them how they can have more power over their thoughts, and what pops up in their head isn't necessarily what they should believe, and they should question it. So until next time, remember, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you. I'll talk to you later.
Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday, who was pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.